Hi, and welcome to Living in El Paso, Texas. In this episode, we are going to talk about the current market update, and spoiler alert, if you're a buyer, it's pretty tough. If you're a seller, please call me. Hi, my name is John Peña. I'm a real estate agent with eXp Realty, the fastest growing brokerage in North America. And this episode is all about El Paso. Eat, sleep, work, play. If that's the kind of information that you are interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel. Click the notification bell and you will be notified every time that a new video comes out. And I was reading through the comments just last week, and a gentleman that I know, Luis, hi Luis, asked about, hey, what's the market update? And I do like to do these every once in a while. I don't want to go overboard on them, but it's so crazy right now that I just felt like it might be a timely time to do a market update. So we are in February of 2021. And if you've been following real estate at all, or the housing market, you know that for the most part, the entire country has been in what we call a seller's market. And what that simply means is that sellers are the ones who have the advantage. And the reason that sellers have the advantage is because it all boils down to supply demand, right? And so currently there is very little supply, which we're going to talk about the specifics of pretty shortly. And that simply means that there aren't a lot of homes for sale. So the inventory of available homes to purchase for buyers is pretty limited. So buyers are at a disadvantage because, there's just not that much to choose from. And so the sellers have the advantage because they're holding the inventory. And what happens when we get into a seller's market? Multiple offers, on homes. There's kind of a feeding frenzy when they come on the market. Everybody wants to get in and look at them and put in offers right away. And so it can be pretty challenging. And then unfortunately for buyers at least, that starts to raise the prices, and we're going to talk about that right now. So I'm just going to give you some of the data, some of the statistics. I know some people really like that information. And so in December of 2020, just about a month ago, or basically we can just kind of generalize and talk about the winter here in El Paso, 2021, the median price, the average price of a home in El Paso was $185,000. Now, I believe on the last market update I did, the median home price was $180,000. So what's happened is that prices are going up a little bit. Now, not to the point that they are in hyperactive places, say like big cities where, it's full on, like say Dallas, Fort Worth is a good example, or Austin, someplace like that is really popular, lots of people going. The prices haven't increased that much, but as you can see from the slide here, they have risen 7.6% year over year. So basically, winter last year would have been 7.6% less. So home prices are definitely climbing. Okay, so the next slide that we want to look at, I think gives you a pretty good idea of what home prices are, for the most part in El Paso. So homes under $100,000 made up just under 3% of our inventory. And so what this means is that while I'm always talking, and probably other people are talking about how affordable homes are, or real estate is in El Paso, it's not completely, paradise out here. It's not like you're gonna roll into town and find a house for, $90,000 and it's gonna be awesome. You're not. You might, depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something small, if you want to look for a fixer-upper, eventually when the market chills out, maybe you're looking for something to flip. Those are out there, but they make up a very small percentage of the inventory currently. So what makes up the majority of our inventory are homes that are priced from $100,000 to $199,000. So about 55% of the homes that are for sale fall within that price point. So that's great on one hand because it proves the fact that, hey, real estate here is very affordable still. It's also tricky though if you're one of those buyers in that price range, because that's where the most competition is. So if you're pre-approved for $200,000, maybe you're looking at homes around 180, 190 if you really like it, but there's a lot of other people looking for that price point as well. So that tends to be the most challenging price range, but fortunately, I guess, it also tends to be the price range where we have the most inventory. So that part of it, is fantastic. $200,000 to $299,000, about 1 out of 3 homes in El Paso fall within this range. So this also is a very strong representation of our market. This price point is very healthy. This starts to get you into more of the west side, because the west side can be a little bit more expensive than the far east or Horizon City. There's simply less land over there, right? So it's more about availability of space. $300,000 to $399,000. We've got about 8.2% of our inventory falls within that price point, and then over $400,000, about 3.7% of our inventory starts to get up into, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, and sure, we've got a couple homes that fall into the millions. So I think that's a great slide. I love that slide because it really shows you like, hey, this guy's telling me that I can get, a home for this price, and sure enough, the numbers reflect that. So moving on to the next one, active listings. Once you start looking for a home, if you choose to purchase a home, active is a status word that we use. Active means that a home is for sale. Other status words are closed. It means a home was for sale, somebody purchased it, the transaction closed, and somebody has a new home and somebody has a lot of money from selling a home. Closed. Pending is another status word. Pending means that the seller has accepted an offer by a buyer, and they are, doing all the paperwork, the title company's doing their thing, the lender's doing their thing if there's a lender involved, and this transaction is pending. It hasn't closed yet, because if you watch the channel, you know that typically a closing takes, if you're using a loan, about 30 to 45 days. It's taking a little longer right now because appraisers are kind of backed up in El Paso. By the way, if you want to come to El Paso and secure yourself a good job, think about becoming an appraiser. So, active listings, homes that are actually for sale. Now, there are some other statuses with active, which we're going to get to in a minute, but big umbrella homes for sale in December 2020 or winter was about 1,278. So this means about 1,300 homes, more or less, on average, were for sale at any one point during the winter here. That is down a staggering 43.7% from last year at this time. That's almost half. So it means this year, last time, there were probably closer to 2,500 homes for sale. So you can see the big difference in availability of inventory, right? So a year ago, 2,500 homes for sale. That was our inventory. This winter, in December, just under 1,300 homes for sale. So that is a pretty big difference. So I'd be curious if you have any thoughts about why that is. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I would suspect that COVID is playing some kind of role in that. So if you have some insight on that, I'd love for you to comment below. Okay, so let's continue with our thrilling lesson in real estate transaction statuses. So we talked about active, we talked about pending, and we talked about closed, right? There can also be expired. So a home goes up on the market for a long time, nobody buys it, and the seller decides, you know what, forget it, and they let it expire, and that's that. Active, okay. So active means that the home is actively for sale. If you're a buyer and you love the home, you stand a chance that you can purchase the home. Couple other though active statuses. Active with contingency. This means that maybe you own a home in Hawaii, okay? And you have to sell your home in Hawaii before you're gonna have enough money to buy your home in El Paso, right? So you can offer, a seller to purchase their home, but you're gonna have to include a contingency for the sale of your property there in Hawaii, okay? So that one's a little less stable, but essentially the seller and the buyer are under contract, so that home is quote unquote kind of taken, but not really. If somebody with cash came along, or somebody who didn't need to sell their home in order to buy that home, they could bump those people. So you're aware. And then pending accepting offers. Pending accepting offers means that, all right, we've signed a contract, but maybe we're still in the termination period and the buyer still might back out after they do the inspection, or, who knows. The point of this rambling definition of active in MLS listings is that homes that were just full on active, not active with contingency, not pending accepting offers, just simply active. These homes don't have any accepted offer on them. They are free for the taking, right? This week, there were less than 400 homes that were active, that were not under contract and could be, have offers made on them and possibly sold or executed contracts. Less than 400 active homes. Okay, in a city of 750, 800,000 people, there are less than 400 homes for sale. This brings me to a message for sellers. If you're in El Paso especially, and if you are considering selling your home, now potentially could be a pretty darn good time to do so, and I'll tell you why. One, like we've been talking about this whole episode, there's not a lot of homes for sale. The inventory is very low. And so, two, because of that, you're going to most likely sell your home pretty quickly. Number three, you're probably going to sell it for the asking price. Number four, you might sell it for more than the asking price, because when multiple buyers want it and start bidding against each other, the price goes up. Okay, and number five is that with interest rates so low, there are a lot of qualified buyers out there. And number six, a lot of people are moving to El Paso, right? It's a beautiful city. It's got so many things going for it. And there's 6 reasons right there off the top of my head why, if you're a seller, you might want to consider selling your home. If you are considering selling your home, please reach out to me. My phone number is in the description. My email is here on the screen. Please reach out. No pressure. I'm not that kind of person, but I will gladly help you maybe talk through some of the thoughts you might have, some of the concerns, how it all works, how we at Peña El Paso, will go above and beyond for you as a seller to get you top dollar in the quickest amount of time. So, 2 more slides here. All right. I like to talk to buyers because buyers always want to know if they're getting a good deal. And they definitely, now chances are in this market, I'm going to be 100% honest. In this market, not too many people are getting good deals, okay? Because there aren't a lot of good deals out there to be had. You can bet your bottom dollar that investors are not going too hard right now, because investors want to purchase properties on the low and do whatever they need to do to turn a profit, right? Now's not that time. So, but anyway, buyers still want to know that they're not overpaying, too much. And one of the numbers or the stats that I try to get them to understand right away is listing price per square foot. So if you divide the price of the home by the square foot of the home, the square footage of the home, you will get a number, and that number will be around 50 to 250. Broad range. So, and that is your listing price per square foot. So, our average median listing price per square foot is about $108 per square foot, okay? This is what I tell people. I always tell people the average is about 100 to 120, okay? If you do the math, divide the asking price divided by the number of square feet in the home, and you'll come up with this number. And if that number is between 100 and I would even go up to 125, That's pretty normal. If it's less than 100, well, now you're starting to get into something that's actually priced pretty well. Once you start getting down to like 60, 50, 40, that's when the investors get excited, all right? And then anytime though you get over 150, then you are either looking at a really nice home that's, closer to $400,000, $500,000, or you're looking at a home that is really starting to get overpriced, and you may want to pause, right, or put your foot on the brake, as they say. So, listing price per square foot, $108. That is up almost 9% from just a year ago. So that just continues to go along with this trend line of, hey, properties are still affordable here in El Paso, but they are going up. A lot of that has to do with inventory. Finally, okay, this is a good one. This one will put the nail in the coffin. So now we have sold price to original price, 99.5%. What this is saying, again, sellers, if you are out there, please consider reaching out and let this statistic be the number that causes you to pick up the phone or write that email. This means that essentially virtually every seller who is selling their home right now, you're almost guaranteed to get your asking price, okay? 99.5% of the time, the home sells for what the original asking price was, if not more. So, it's a pretty remarkable time. El Paso, is just a mirror reflection of what's happening all over the country, and we are certainly not unique in this, and other places are crazier than we are. But I just wanted to really, help people understand what's happening with our market currently. As you can imagine, this channel attracts a lot of relocating buyers, and I've had to tell a lot of folks on a pretty regular basis lately, hey, it's a pretty challenging market here. We can do it, but chances are we're gonna put in, a number of offers that may get rejected, and if you really want to close a deal, you're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive with your offer, which, buyers understand. And so, that's just the reality of where we are. Everybody, well, except for sellers, everybody's kind of hoping that the market will balance out a little bit and that we'll at least get more inventory. So that would help a lot. February is typically the slowest month for real estate. So, hopefully in the spring, it's going to start to pick up. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, and I'm going to pitch you one more time. If you are considering relocating to El Paso, Texas, it's a beautiful city. The people are amazing. The weather is fantastic, and it's a great up-and-coming place. So if that's you, please consider reaching out to me. And also, if you are currently living in El Paso and you are a homeowner and you are thinking that maybe it's time to downsize, maybe the kids are out of the house, maybe, whatever, maybe things are going great at work and it's time to upsize, right? But if you're thinking about selling, by all means, please consider reaching out to us. We would love a chance to earn your business. And with that, we will see you next time. Start just catching more of this kind of footage of this what El Paso is like.